Hello, I'm Chris Berge with Ooma, Vice President of Corporate Development. Thank you for joining our webinar today, where we'll discuss 6 ways IT supports the new hybrid work model with unified communications as a service. If you do have any questions during this webinar, feel free to submit them, and we'll route them to an appropriate team member to engage with you. 2020 was an incredibly challenging year for a variety of reasons, ranging from the pandemic that was occurring around the world to having to figure out a way to allow our employees and contractors to work effectively and efficiently while from home or in other locations. Coming out of this, we realized that it is possible to facilitate this type of work style different than what we've been accustomed to in the past. And in fact, it's underscored a greater demand for solutions like video conferencing and collaboration. In fact, because we had to make this work in 2020, the reality of how work will look in the future has changed. And the expectation from many firms, like IDC for instance, is that organizations will adopt this flexible hybrid work style. Some folks may bring all of their employees back into the office. Some may allow them to work permanently from home. And the reality is many organizations will probably fall in the middle with a hybrid sort of work style where you may work from home for 2 or 3 days a week and you're in the office the remainder of the week. In supporting this sort of work style, it's critical to implement the tool sets that are necessary to support that. And it's one of the benefits that the broader UCaaS industry and Ooma in particular can deliver to allow employees to easily reach each other or easily reach external parties in the manner that is most effective for them, whether that's a standard audio conferencing call, video conferencing, screen sharing, mobile applications, physical desk phones, using your computer as your soft phone. All of those are fantastic tools to enable this sort of trend and support this trend going forward. In fact, surveys have been conducted by Gartner in particular looking at the reality of a hybrid work environment going forward. And what we've seen from the employee perspective is that approximately 80% of workers expect to be able to continue to work from home at least 3 days a week. And roughly between 25 and 30% of those that were surveyed expect to use their home office as their primary workspace, a dramatic shift from where we were prior to 2020 and underscoring the need to have the right types of tools and systems and processes in place to support this new distributed work style. As we look at the future around cloud, which has obviously seen widespread adoption, this has only underscored the flexibility that a software as a service business model provides to organizations. And in fact, in a recent survey, we've seen that 90% of IT leaders will actually cease purchasing on-premises communication tools by the end of this calendar year. When we think about what's happening from an IT director's perspective, there's a variety of priorities that come to mind to support this new reality for us. The first of which is maintaining business continuity. So no longer do you have everybody in the same office where you can implement systems and tools and equipment to facilitate high availability. Now you have to look at how do I address this in a home setting, for instance, where my employee may be leveraging a cable modem that becomes more spotty, or they may have limited connectivity, relying on wireless, for instance. It's really created a new burden, a new set of problems to solve for. By the same token, there are a lot of tools that are available, and ensuring that adoption is high across the team members really provides that cohesiveness that's necessary for employees to feel engaged with each other. Similarly, IT needs to be cognizant around the spend on these solutions. It's easy to implement a wide array of tools, so taking a lens that looks at this through how we can really generate an ROI that allows us to fund other IT initiatives that can drive dramatically higher value, and demonstrating that the solutions that have been invested in actually have a marked impact on the organization and their ability to successfully complete their job. And similarly, hiring is not going to stop. So one of the key things that has to be solved for as part of this new work from home or hybrid model is, how do I onboard a new employee that may never go into the office, for instance? How do I train existing employees on new policies, new solutions that are available, and try to implement this as much as possible in a self-service sort of model? As we look at the benefits around switching to cloud communication services, there are a number of things that come to mind immediately that will allow us to really tap into the fundamental power of these types of solutions. The first of which, with a modern UCaaS platform, is service mobility. Allowing an employee or a contractor to use the best tool that's available for their work style. And this could range from physical desk phones for those folks who still care about that type of interaction, to folks that live and breathe through their mobile phone and having their work identity on that mobile phone to make and receive phone calls and collaborate with other employees, to folks that want to leverage their PC or Mac computer to achieve the same sort of functionality. Having this capability, this latitude, really allows organizations to adapt to a variety of different scenarios and be flexible in attracting the right kinds of employees and retaining those kinds of employees. And from an IT perspective, having the flexibility to administer the system from anywhere is critical. Whether you're at home, in a coffee shop, in the office, having rapid access to make those changes is paramount for staying adaptable from an organizational perspective. The second benefit of switching to a cloud communications platform is the inherent versatility around such a solution. So no longer do you have to worry about buying specific hardware and deploying to locations, which is especially complicated if you have folks that are working from home. Instead, all of it is centralized out of a modern native cloud system that allows you to easily scale up, scale down your users, deploy folks in a variety of different manners, whether it's physical desk phones that they want to interact with, to soft phone clients that run on Windows or Macintosh devices, or even mobile phone applications that allow them to use an existing handset that the employee may already have. Having all of this available in an easy to administer model is important for maintaining the pace to keep up with the organization changes. The third benefit of switching to cloud communications is tapping into the inherent capability around collaboration with internal parties and external parties. Traditional phone systems, whether that be a hosted VoIP solution or an on-premises PBX, generally require you to pay extra for these capabilities. So picking a platform that allows you to easily facilitate audio conferencing, to video conferencing, to screen sharing in a very easy-to-use manner is critical to maintaining that employee connectedness and the ability to interact with each other to come to resolution and agreement on issues that may arise or ideating on new solutions. The fourth advantage of a cloud communications platform is reliability. And this really taps into the scale of what cloud solutions can do most generally, and in particular in the voice or UCaaS space. It allows you to really have enhanced reliability beyond what most organizations can afford to do. Having a distributed architecture with multiple connections into the internet really ensures that the system will continue to operate, and doing this in a cloud model allows you to mitigate connectivity issues that may happen at your corporate data center, your corporate headquarters, that takes the entire environment down. So while you may have a single office location that loses internet connectivity, everybody else can continue to work, and then you can leverage solutions like your cell phone to maintain that flexibility, or flexible call forwarding as well for folks. The fifth benefit of switching to a cloud communication platform is really customizing that to fit to your own business requirements. It can range from things like call flows that are specific to business process that you have in your organization, allowing you to rapidly make changes or updates on the fly. So for instance, you may have forgot that we're on holiday and the business is closed today, so being able to easily modify that message for folks that are calling into a restaurant, for instance. and allowing the simple addition or subtraction of users in a matter of minutes gives you a lot of flexibility to adapt to what's happening in that business today. The sixth benefit of switching to a cloud communications solution is really around ROI and cost structure. Previously, in the old world of on-premises PBXs, you had to worry about having enough equipment in place to handle the capacity, that you're sourcing enough connectivity from the carriers to ensure those simultaneous phone calls can be handled. No longer do you have to deal with that sort of prediction or math in a cloud model. You can effectively have unlimited calls, and you can avoid busy signals, which is catastrophic to many organizations. Additionally, having an all-in pricing plan that is predictable allows you to very simply understand what your costs will be on a monthly basis and eliminate the worry about things like domestic calls, long-distance calls in a particular country, and very attractive rates for international calls. Thank you for taking the time to walk through the industry trends with us. We hope that you found the information valuable and insightful. Ooma is probably most often recognized for our long-standing heritage in the residential VoIP space, which the company's been at since 2004. We're actually born in the cloud as an organization, so we have a lot of heritage in understanding how to operate cloud services at scale. And one of the facts that probably surprises most people is we have over 2 million users across all of our platforms. We live and breathe this cloud model and have really identified how to apply this ethos we have from the residential learnings into the same approach with business solutions, namely around simplicity of deployment, simplicity of management, and value for our customers. Over the past 8 years, we've diversified our portfolio significantly beyond the residential consumer space and have a breadth of solutions that are available for business customers. In particular, we deliver a industry-leading UCaaS platform on the SMB segment, but we've also diversified out into larger organizations or bespoke requirements with organizations with our enterprise platform. From the typical small business perspective, Ooma delivers the Ooma Office platform, which is designed to be easy to use, easy to implement, and value-oriented, and provide all the functionality that a small business should really need in their environment to successfully communicate with customers, employees, contractors, and other parties. But we never remained still on this, and we introduced a new tier of Ooma Office designed again for that small business environment without IT, so it's a self-administered system, to allow us to serve a wider array of needs of small business customers, in particular around professional services-oriented folks. And this introduced things like video conferencing, call recording. For the very large enterprise or bespoke customer scenarios, our enterprise platform is built on the same foundational technology and the scale that we have as an organization, but it's designed for an environment where IT likely exists, and they have much more robust requirements around their UCaaS platform, how they need to configure call flows, things like call center, and we expose APIs in this platform that allow organizations to custom integrate solutions or allows us to custom develop solutions to meet bespoke business process requirements. In addition, beyond our UCaaS portfolio, we recognize that organizations have needs that go beyond voice or phone service. And we call this business in a box, that there are other adjacent technology solutions that are critical in a customer's environment. And there was an opportunity to apply the same ethos around simplicity of deployment, simplicity of management, and value, frankly, for organizations. And so we introduced 2 new solutions last year in our business in a box journey. The first one, Ooma Connect, delivers internet connectivity over the cellular network, and this can be utilized in either a primary or backup internet model. And the second solution we introduced was bringing enterprise caliber Wi-Fi equipment down to the SMB or the distributed enterprise in an affordable price point with capabilities that underscore quality and security, and all delivered as a managed service so that Ooma abstracts the complexity of that implementation and ongoing monitoring and management of the Wi-Fi solution. As I mentioned, our Ooma Office portfolio is oriented towards small business customers, although fits fantastically well with distributed enterprise. You think of the retail vertical, where you have hundreds or thousands of locations, but each of them actually closely mimic what a traditional SMB customer needs. This platform is designed to solve for common issues that small business customers face. Most often, we see these customers coming from legacy on-premises PBXs or key systems. We see them leveraging double play or triple play bundles from the cable companies. And the reality is their business is continuing to evolve, adapt, and grow. And oftentimes they don't have IT in the organization. So they're really looking for a solution that provides good quality in terms of the voice phone calls that are made, allows them to self-administer the system so that they can modify things like their call routing rules, schedules, quickly and easily add new users into the system, not be locked into a contract, and the flexibility to work in the best way that they see for individual employees, whether that be a physical desk phone, an analog phone even, a mobile application. All of that is available as solutions that we use to solve for common small business issues from a UCaaS perspective. We designed Ooma Office to really be an all-inclusive platform for that traditional small business customer or distributed enterprise. Everything that you should fundamentally need as a business is included, and there's no additional charge on this list at $19.95 a month, and this is sold on a no-contract basis, so it's a month-to-month commitment. Whether you need to configure different call routing rules, implement a virtual receptionist to help provide a menu structure to answer questions for your customers when they're calling in and reach the right individuals, to allowing individual users to adapt to the best way for them to be reached, whether that's a mobile device or they want to work with physical desk phones. All of that is available for customers as part of the baseline Ooma Office profile. One of the things that we've been really proud of is our ranking with PC Magazine for Ooma Office. We've been rated the #1 solution for small business VoIP 8 years in a row now. And we appreciate the effort that PC Magazine puts into this because it's a survey based upon actual customers ranking their experience with these solutions. Quite a feat for us to achieve the #1 spot 8 years in a row. I mentioned earlier that we introduced a new tier of Ooma Office called Ooma Office Pro that is intended to solve for the needs of professional services organizations, slightly different than your standard Main Street business, if you will, an auto body shop or a florist shop. This is really geared for attorneys, doctors' offices, accountants, folks that have more knowledge workers in their environment and engage their customers in different ways than traditional Main Street small businesses. The Ooma Office Pro tier introduced a number of new features, and it's something that we continue to expand in terms of our capabilities. Among those are call recording, the ability to block telemarketers with our call blocking functionality, voicemail transcription, so you can see what the voicemail message actually says if you're in a meeting, for instance, a desktop application that allows you to utilize it as your soft phone, your primary mechanism for communicating with others, as well as SMS and MMS messaging. The Ooma Office Pro tier is priced at $24.95 a user a month, again sold on a no-contract basis. As part of the Ooma Office Pro tier, we introduced the desktop application, which of course allows you to utilize it as a soft phone in your directory and your messaging client, but also included as part of the Pro tier at no additional cost is Ooma Meetings, which is a very easy to use video conferencing collaboration solution that's designed to make this experience as seamless as possible and support customer or employee engagement in a very efficient way. Our Ooma Meetings solution allows you to join video conference sessions from your web browser, from a desktop client, or from a mobile client. And again, no additional cost if you are part of the Ooma Office Pro tier. While we designed Ooma Office for the standard Main Street business customer, we found that it works exceptionally well for the large distributed enterprise, especially in the retail space is a good example. So a customer in the retail space may have hundreds or thousands of locations. Each of those locations are actually relatively small from a UCaaS perspective. They may have 3 to 5 phones, but they're really pining for that simplicity in deployment, simplicity in ongoing management and value. And one of our customers that we're really proud of in this retail segment is Pet Supplies Plus, which has over 41 stores across 6 different states with us on the Ooma Office platform. And it has allowed them to be much more efficient in the way that they can engage their customers when they're coming in to interact or calling in to ask questions before they visit the location, and managing it all through one common web interface for all these locations, and again delivered in a value-oriented way. As I mentioned in our overview, Ooma presents 2 different options for customers from a UCaaS perspective. Our Ooma Office platform that we just discussed is perfect for that customer environment that doesn't really have highly complex needs or bespoke requirements around integrations into custom applications. And so we developed a platform specific to this larger customer, tends to be multinational in nature, and may have unique integrations or need for call center. And our Ooma Enterprise platform really allows us to tailor this specific to the business problems that customers are trying to solve for. When we look at the customers that are seeking our Ooma Enterprise platform, we help them solve for a variety of issues. Generally, they have a more intense focus on how that customer engagement looks and how they boost employee productivity with that customer engagement. So you can think of this scenario where we've all called into a company that we do business with, interacted with a call center to help facilitate connecting you to the right agent. Oftentimes, larger organizations need to go through a phased migration. And we have a lot more latitude in how we can facilitate a hybrid deployment with our Ooma Enterprise platform, including things like SIP trunking into existing on-premises locations and merging that together with locations that have already been deployed on our UCaaS platform. We also find in larger organizations the requirements around how they handle call flows in their environment are significantly more complex. And we've unlocked a lot of power in our underlying platform for these customers in Ooma Enterprise to configure call flows to the way that best serves the needs of their business processes and allows them integration points into other systems, which may be a CRM or an internal database as part of this call flow design. All of this is intended to provide flexibility in tailoring this solution to the specific requirements of each customer with the Ooma Enterprise platform. As we look at Ooma Enterprise, a great way to think about it is really a superset of capabilities for what we have in Ooma Office. And Office was designed for an environment where IT may not exist. So the management portal and the capabilities there are really tailored towards someone that is more of a layperson from a UCaaS or a telephony perspective. On the other hand, we really unlock all of those capabilities in Ooma Enterprise with a management portal that's geared more towards an IT person. There's a lot of inherent flexibility and latitude in how they can choose to configure the system. We deliver the same concepts around flexibility in devices that you can select with Ooma Enterprise, whether that be a desktop application with soft phone, mobile applications that allow you to use that as your work identity, IP phone endpoints, and we even have flexibility to allow you to bring your own SIP device. So if you have an implementation today with an IP PBX or another cloud provider and you want to bring along your polyphones, for instance, we support that in this model with Ooma Enterprise. In addition, we expose the APIs that are inherent in our platform for Ooma Enterprise customers so that they can take their own approach to integrating this into applications that may be unique in that particular business, or they can engage Ooma and we can custom create solutions specific to the challenges that they're trying to solve. We also support SIP trunking in this model, which is critical for larger customers that are going through a phased migration. And we have private connectivity options for folks that want to guarantee call quality instead of relying on solely just the internet, which most of the time is perfectly acceptable for customers. While Ooma Office was designed to be self-service with the management interface and with the whole deployment methodology, we recognize the complex needs of larger customers or customers with bespoke requirements. One of the key differentiators for Ooma and how we approach our enterprise offering is we have a dedicated team that ushers a customer through the entire process. We call them success heroes. So it's effectively a concierge service that allows us to really dig into the business and what that organization is trying to solve for and configuring the system in the most effective way to achieve their business requirements, their business objectives. So we will handhold a customer through the entire implementation process, capturing all the details that are necessary to make sure that this is a really productive implementation and that the customer achieves the success that they're looking for. That's everything from number porting is facilitated in a very seamless way, to all of the configuration, deployment of devices, and doing this in a manner that really minimizes disruption to the business and ensuring business continuity. And this allows a single point of contact for our Ooma enterprise customers to engage with, so there's certainty and relationship that's built to really understand that business. An important aspect to many larger organizations is reliability. And we've architected our solutions to really enhance the reliability as much as possible to provide business continuity for customer organizations. The architecture that we've developed is fully redundant. It allows us to deploy in an active-active model within a data center. So if there's a failure on a component, the rest of the components in the data center can take over. And more importantly, we synchronize this active-active architecture across our data centers. So if there was a catastrophic failure, say a natural disaster that occurred in a particular data center location, the remaining data centers will take over and serve all customers. In addition, customers, as they're deploying, will home into the closest data center to them, and this is critical to really maximize performance, minimizing latency for customers that are deploying over the public internet. One of the common scenarios that we see with larger organizations or organizations that still have a significant investment in on-premises PBXs is the need for SIP trunking. And this really is centered around a couple different use cases. One is a larger organization needs to facilitate a phased migration over time. Let's say they have hundreds or thousands of locations that they need to solve for. And this allows us to provide a unified platform into those existing on-premise locations via SIP trunking, so we can provide the dial tone and dial plan integration, and allow that to work seamlessly with locations or sites that have already moved over to Ooma Enterprise as their UCaaS platform. The second scenario is organizations that aren't fully ready to make the jump to a complete cloud solution. And while they're waiting on the most appropriate time, we can deliver SIP trunking into that business with an aim towards making it very cost-effective compared to PRIs or other landline solutions or even other SIP trunking solutions. This really helps us underscore the value story for customers in maximizing the ROI as part of a deployment and facilitating that migration over time. One of the big beneficiaries out of the pandemic that has occurred in 2020 was Microsoft. We've seen a significant adoption of Microsoft Teams by many organizations around the world. Microsoft is now north of 125 million daily active users on Teams, and it's created a platform that really helps facilitate employee collaboration and communication. One of the things that Microsoft delivers is the ability to have a phone system inherent in the Teams platform, which works really well for organizations that have a lot of knowledge workers. Ooma is pleased to be able to offer a direct routing solution for Teams that allows customers to implement Office 365 with Teams Business Voice in their environment, and we can bring to bear our significant scale that we have as an organization around calling services. So for a very attractive price point, you can leverage Teams as your business phone system in your environment and have predictable prices for calling plans that allow you to reach the PSTN. One of the other unique approaches that we've taken around our Teams direct routing solution is running it through our core call control platform. This allows us to deploy in a hybrid model for customers. So if you're a Teams organization, deploying Teams as a phone system works really well for your knowledge workers who may make the occasional phone call out to the PSTN network, but it may not work well for things like call center or for a lobby phone, for instance. So we can deploy side by side, allowing you to leverage Teams for your knowledge workers and leverage Ooma Enterprise where it makes sense for other telephony requirements in your environment, and doing so in a very cost-effective factor. The other unique approach we've taken is around how we handle the provisioning and onboarding of new users in the Teams ecosystem for direct routing. With many solutions on the market today, the IT administrator of Office 365 needs to run scripts to configure each of their users. We've built a portal that allows very simple provisioning of all of the users in your system with the Ooma Direct Routing solution, releasing IT from the burden of a lot of work to implement this or make changes in their environment. We've seen a lot of wonderful success stories around our Ooma Enterprise solution, one in which that we're really proud about is one of our largest customers that we have at Ooma today. This company is focused on the shared workspace market. They have over 300 locations with Ooma today and north of 25,000 users that are operating on our system. They migrated from a traditional PBX to the cloud, and they were really looking for a cost-effective way to serve the needs of each of these locations, but tapping into more of the functionality that is critical for customers today and how they engage with their own clients, their own employees. And so for Ooma, this presented an opportunity to provide the underlying foundational building blocks for rock-solid telephony in providing the value, but they also had some unique business process requirements in their organization that we were able to solve for. And as part of this, we built a unique module in our desktop application that's specific to a workflow that this organization has that off-the-shelf UCaaS platforms have not been able to solve. In addition, we also helped facilitate the implementation and migration process, taking a white glove sort of approach, if you will, to handling the on-site implementation at each of these 300 locations. And in fact, we were deploying at one point in time 15 locations a week. So it gives you a sense of our scale to be able to handle larger organizations, including the implementation process if IT is too busy with other initiatives. We also train their team on how to self-administer and manage the system on an ongoing basis. And this is critical to the efficiency of this organization and one of the reasons why they've grown so big with our platform and we've been able to deliver a significant amount of value to the organization. We're also leveraging SIP trunking in this environment to assist in the locations that are not yet ready to migrate to the Ooma Enterprise solution so we can still provide the same value story for them and connect the dial plan up between their locations. Our enterprise platform serves customers across a wide array of industries, everything from a small organization, again with bespoke requirements that may be a very specific integration that they may need or a business workload that they need to solve for, to large distributed organizations ranging all the way up to Slack. I mentioned early on in the presentation that Ooma's vision around serving business customers is much more broad than just being a UCaaS company, that we have this business in a box kind of vision or objective as a company. And the first two solutions that we delivered around that vision are Ooma Connect and Ooma Wi-Fi. Our Ooma Connect solution is designed as a fixed wireless offering, allowing us to deliver primary or backup internet access over the cellular network. It's actually LTE. One of the keys for us was applying that same ethos that we had around Ooma Office, making this very easy to deploy for customers and value-oriented, so affordable. This solution allows customers that are stuck with DSL or satellite or T1 connectivity today to have an internet solution that is much more performant than what they're able to achieve today. And for many organizations, it's become a real problem in their environment. There's just not enough throughput from these other types of low-speed connections to handle the business, especially with more and more applications moving into the cloud. Similarly, we are able to solve for business continuity with this solution. It has a form of SD-WAN built in that allows us to detect issues on a primary internet connection. This could be your cable modem, could be a fiber connection, and fail over seamlessly to LTE as a backup and cure back to the primary connection when we've detected that everything has been resolved. We wanted to design this solution to be very powerful from an LTE perspective, and so we split it into two pieces. On the left-hand side is our base station, which is designed to go into a wiring closet or other area where you'd stuff your equipment in that environment. And on the right-hand side is the module that actually contains all of the cellular components, including 8 antennas in there to maximize the reception capabilities of our unit with an aim towards allowing this to be deployed indoor and separating the antenna array from the wiring closet, which is at the most ideal scenario. This is all designed to be deployed without IT or a consultant that's involved. It can be self-serve, kind of plug and play, if you will, for customers, and really maximize the performance in that environment. In addition, we recognize that there's a lot of complexity for customers in figuring out how to source data plans from the carriers. And so we're pleased to offer very attractive data plans as part of our Ooma Connect solution. You can secure a backup plan for starting at $30 a month, and we have new primary internet plans that start at $99 on a no overage basis, so you can have certainty about how much your internet access will cost you every month. Our Ooma Wi-Fi solution is really developed to democratize access to what is traditionally enterprise-grade Wi-Fi equipment. We have a slew of different access points that are available for customers. And Ooma delivers all of this as a managed service into customer environments. This solution is perfect for small businesses and can scale to very large organizations with hundreds or thousands of access points in their environment. The key around this is really delivering Wi-Fi that can provide consistent reliability and quality of connections. This is a modern cloud-native architecture. All of the access points are aware of each other. They dynamically adapt to the environment and the RF to really maximize coverage for customers and allows us to implement quality of service to guarantee that traffic gets priority. From a voice perspective, this is particularly important because we now allow you to deploy IP phones over Wi-Fi. When paired with our own Ooma Managed Wi-Fi offering, we can guarantee the quality of those connections for voice calls where this may not be achievable with standard consumer-grade or SOHO equipment. There's also robust security functionality that's available as part of this solution. And security is becoming more and more top of mind to a lot of organizations, and the wireless network introduces a vector that may be a risk point. In fact, in some industries or some vertical markets, there are very stringent requirements around how Wi-Fi networks have to be secured that we can help customers meet with the solution. A couple of examples are healthcare with HIPAA requirements and the retail space in passing a PCI DSS audit. All of that can be handled and configured on behalf of the customer. We deliver this as a managed service. The intent is to make this as seamless as possible for smaller organizations and allow larger organizations to shift their IT resources away from managing infrastructure to higher value areas that the IT organization can deliver value for the organization. The managed services incorporates the full configuration and implementation process that we walk through with the customer. The access points are shipped out for self-service installation. We do have options to facilitate physical installation for customers as well. And then on an ongoing basis, Ooma will monitor the system for performance. Ooma will perform firmware upgrades, software upgrades on all of the units, and any configuration changes that are needed, Ooma will perform on behalf of the customer. This is all delivered in a monthly subscription model for the managed services with options to rent the access points or buy the access points for a nominal amount. For Ooma overall, we really have this intense focus on providing the right type of solution depending on the business segment. We really want to understand what your needs are and steer you towards the most appropriate solution in our portfolio, whether that's more of a curated solution that aims to make management as simple as possible with Ooma Office, to bespoke, unique solutions where IT is involved with Ooma Enterprise. But most importantly, this has really allowed us, our vision really allowed us to drive value. So we approach our pricing where it's very transparent what you're receiving. You can have a predictable monthly amount that you know you're going to spend on the solutions, minimizing dozens and dozens of different add-ons that other vendors may have available as part of their portfolio, and matching this up with a customer support and customer success team that really goes out of their way to ensure that you have a positive implementation experience, you have a positive experience on an ongoing basis, and we are here to backstop you to make sure that this is successful. Thank you for your time today. If you have any questions on our portfolio, feel free to reach out to this 866 number. You may also submit questions in the chat. We'll funnel this to the right member of our team, and we'll reach out and be able to engage you. We appreciate the time. Stay well.